Let's continue. Second part of our lecture. Is number one example for calculating descriptive statistical indicators of quantitative variables, central tendency and variability. 350 patients with diagnosis were under observation and serials of laboratory data were collected during the study. Young scientists decided to answer the research question: what is the characteristic of cholesterol level depending on gender? To answer the question, it is necessary to construct variation series of cholesterol data in an Excel spreadsheet using Excel. Calculate measures of central tendency, arithmetic mean, median in the variation series of Excel spreadsheet. Calculate measures of variability, standard deviation, quartiles, minimum, maximum in a variation series of Excel spreadsheet. Assess whether the obtained difference is not random, for example, whether it has statistical significance or whether there is statistically significant difference. After entering all cholesterol data for man and woman into the column of Excel spreadsheet, we obtain variation series with 154 records. We have such dates. After that, determine the type of date distribution according to the Gaussian law using Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. You can find many online calculators that will indicate the distribution type. The p-value, p less than 0.05, distribution is non-normal shifted. And if p more than 0.05, the dataset has a normal distribution. If the data are normally distributed, for example, a cholesterol measurement uses the arithmetic mean m to describe the central tendency and standard deviation sigma SD or to describe variability. In our case, we can use the website at this Kolmogorov-Smirnov test calculator. You need to copy the cholesterol in man date set and paste it into the date cell when click the calculate button. We obtain table with p-value of 0.00549 and by inserting cholesterol data for women into the online Kolmogorov-Smirnov test calculator, we obtain for women it was 0.0003516. Considering that obtained p-values for men and women are less than 0.05, the distribution is squared, so cholesterol level should be described by the mean with the standard deviation. Find arithmetic mean and the formula in cell B156. 156, we write equal. In Russian, it is average. Средняч. After activating function, highlight the entire date series and press enter, and then drag the green handle at the bottom right corner of the cell to the right to obtain similar result for woman. We have such meaning 6 and 1 point. Standard deviation or stand deviation. After activating the function, select the entire series of values, press enter and drag the green square in the lower right corner of the cell to the right, and we get similar result for woman. You see, it is standard deviation. Conclusion: the mean cholesterol level in men was 8 and 2 and 6, and in women it was 6 and 1 point, 2 and 1 point. Thus, mean level in men was higher by 2 and 1 millimole per liter, statistically significant difference in this case. We remind you that when the data distribution is squared asymmetric, for example, for cholesterol, we use median MN to describe the central tendency and interquartile range Q1, Q3 to describe variability. To determine the median, select median from the list. After activation, select entire variation range, press enter and pull the green square in the lower right corner of the cell to the right and get similar result for men. It is B2B 155, and we receive median for men. To determine the first quartile or the 25th percentile of the equal, write word quar, select quartile from the drop-down list, press and enter activation, select the entire variation series, but a comma and list of quartiles open, select one first quartile, press enter and pull the green square in the lower right corner of cell to the right. We get similar result for woman. First quartile, level B2, B151. To determine the third quartile or 70th percentile, after equal, write the word quar, select quartile from the drop-down list, press, and after activation, select the entire variation series, but a comma and the list of quartiles open, select third quartile, press enter and pull the green square in the lower right corner of the cell to right. We get similar result for woman. Conclusion: cholesterol in women, the median cholesterol level of 60 millimole per liter and interquartile range IQR 4.8 suggests that average cholesterol level in this group is slightly above the optimal range 5.2 millimole liter. However, the lower IQR boundary 4 is within the normal range. Cholesterol in men. The median cholesterol level of 8 and 5 millimole per liter and IQR 610 indicate very high average cholesterol level in this group, likely pointing to the hypercholesterolemia, significantly elevate cholesterol in most men in the sample. Regarding the question, is the observed difference in the cholesterol levels between men and women random? It is statistically significant, or is there a statistically significant difference? Statistical tests should be used selected based on the type of data distribution according to the Gaussian law and whether the groups are related. Reminder, if the compared groups are unrelated, as in our case, men and women, and both variables date follow normal distribution, the unpaired t-test student's t-test is used. If one of the variables are squared distribution, the man-Whitney test should be applied. If the groups are related, for example, date from the same man before and after an intervention, and both variables follow a normal distribution, the pairs t-test is used. If one variable is squared, the Wilkinson test is applied. Within this training program, we will not cover the technique for calculating statistical significance. If needed, guidelines for determining standard errors, 95% confidence intervals, and p-values can be found in online resources, regardless of distribution metrics such as minimum value, maximum value, and range. The difference between these indicators can be used. To determine the minimum and maximum values, use the built-in mathematical function mean and max and apply this to date counts for men and women. Result: arithmetic mean, median, standard deviation, quartiles, minimum and maximum of date series are obtained. You see average 8 and 2 points. Here at woman 6 and 1 point. Median, standard of first quartile, third quartile, minimum, maximum, middle, and median. We also remind you that through the online calculator for Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, you can get table of contents with the arithmetic mean, median, and standard deviation. But unfortunately, it does not contain interquartile range. The latest versions of Excel allow you to get indications of descriptive statistics except for the standard deviation through the rough box or box with mustache. To do this, select variation series, go through the insert tab to the statistical histograms, click on the icon with the name box with mustache, and get box plots with descriptive statistics for women and men, compare and make conclusion, within which the values should have been You see here we have upper limit, upper quartile, third quartile, average, median, low quartile, and low limit minimum. And we see histogram task. 50 patients with diagnosis were under observation and number of laboratory data were collected during the study. Research question was raised. What is the characteristic of hemoglobin levels, glycolyzed hemoglobin, erythrocytes, ACT, ALT, depending on gender? For each student, it is necessary to create training sheet in Excel writing formula in the mm, equal case between cells and inserted minimum and maximum values through the bracket. After pressing enter, you need to pull the green button square down by 30 lines. It is necessary to select the entire variation row, and it is necessary to pull green button square to the right, and two variation rows will appear. This way you can create assignment individually for each student for mini groups necessary for students. Determine type of data distribution using online calculator for Kolmogorov, Smirnov test. Calculate measures of central tendency and variability. Characterize the variable under the condition of normal and asymmetric distribution of variables. And do make conclusion.